Hello, everyone. So in this segment, we will be talking about industrial real estate. So let's see what this definition has got. Industrial property category is used for the industrial activities where goods are manufactured and distributed. Industrial real estate comes under different shapes and sizes to cater to diverse business types. So definitely, based on this, you would have got to know that industrial real estate, it can like basically be broadly classified as all of these land and the buildings that accommodates these industrial activities, including all of the production units, or it might be manufacturing units, and then coming to all of the assembling of the various small units, then coming to storage and this warehousing part, or it can even be used for the research, for the data centers, and even for the distribution part. So in these all activities actually comes under the industrial activities. So the land or that particular space and that particular property which has been used for these industrial activities is defined as industrial real estate in simple terms. So usually when people think about real estate, they naturally think about these places where they spend time, they spend their own time at their favorite spot, or it may be their home, their houses, or it might be their favorite restaurant or their shopping complex malls. But suddenly, when they start hearing about industrial real estate, the whole picture just changes. It will be about, like it will be like a giant brick chimneys where it is pumping out of these polluted smoke, or putting all of the machineries of the cars together, and then it has been uniformly segregating from one place to another for the next process. This is how the whole picturization happens when it comes for industrial real estate. So this visual definitely has been there, but when it comes to industrial real estate, when it is coming into the actual picture, it will usually be located where it is easy for the transportation purpose. In coastal areas, it will be pretty much all of these warehouses or the storage and the distribution units. It will definitely be put up in such a places where it is very close to these harbor ports, or it can be very close to the airports. So usually when it has been planned like that, when it is there at the outskirts, definitely one, because all of these pollution shouldn't be affected the common people. So that is the reason. That is one of the reasons why it is put outside, and also where the transportation of all these goods and materials becomes easy is one of the other concerns. So next, moving forward, what are the type of industrial properties that we have over here is what we can see. Firstly, we have got this manufacturing units. Whole of this industrial properties is majorly bifurcated into these three types. One is manufacturing, one more is the storage and the distribution, and then we have the flex spaces. Flex spaces is nothing but the flexible spaces. So I will be talking about it in detail. Now, firstly, coming for manufacturing. So manufacturing has two types. One is heavy manufacturing, and one more is the light assembly. So heavy manufacturing, what exactly happens is here there are these giant plants, or these heavy duty goods and materials that has been there. And there are very large spaces where it is there for the movement of all of the trucks to load and unload all of the goods and materials that is with respect to the manufacturing unit that has been set up there. So as a whole, this subsector of the industrial real estate being heavy manufacturing plants or heavy manufacturing units, it will take a very larger area so that it becomes easy for the transportation, loading and unloading, for storage and all of these purposes. On the contrasting part, we have the light assembly. So in this light assembly, we have all of these, comparatively, it is smaller and a little simpler when compared to the other counterparts, where all of the mass assembling that will be happening at the heavy manufacturing units. So this is comparatively a compact space. It will be very small. So multiple counterparts or all of these manufactured parts where it will be assembled, it will be stored, and completely it will be shipped out. So for this small purpose of an activity, these light assemblies will be coming into the picture. So this is where the two types, that is heavy manufacturing on the one side and the light assembly on the other side, will be coming under the manufacturing unit. Now we have about the storage and the distribution part. So while manufacturing sites are all about all of these products that has been made, so these properties are all about how these products are made, how it has been moved from one place to another, and ultimately it is sent to the end users. So when it comes to storage and distribution, definitely the sizes will be varying from one size to another, depending upon the property. So just in case if it is a food processing unit, so then comparatively, what is the kind of food that has been processed there? For example, it might be chips manufacturing units. So everything will be computer automated, and all of these storage, the packing, and as well as a few amount of manpower would be required. But whereas when on the contrary side, if you take, if it is assembling of all of these car units, different parts of these cars that should be assembled, then it will be on a completely different size of it. So based on the kind of the industry that has been put up, definitely the sizes of that particular industrial real estate keeps varying. So in a similar fashion, we have three kinds of distribution as well as the storage. So firstly, we have the distribution warehouse. So as this name implies, so these warehouses are actually primarily used for to ship the goods. So which means from these local matters. So say for example, these Amazon occupiers, definitely they will have all of the materials in bulk items. So it would be easy for them to ship all of these goods if it is nearly located for easy transportation that has been there. Majority of the end user products where it will be stored is where the distribution warehouse will be coming into the picture. Then we have this general purpose warehouse. So here these warehouses are more geared towards storage than the distribution. So in Amazon occupiers, like how I mentioned with the distribution warehouse, they are mainly concentrated on the supply of it, the supply chain of it. But here it is more of the storage. So for however long, for a longer run, that this particular material, if it has to be stored, if it had to be stored there, that's exactly where these general purpose warehouses will be coming into the picture. And then we have these truck terminals. So on the other end of the spectrum, so from these general purpose warehouses are the truck terminals, where these are entirely devoted towards transportation. So they are simply the intermediate sites where goods are loaded from one truck to another, and there is going to be little to no storage space. So in this way, the general purpose is completely dedicated for storage. The truck terminal, it is definitely dedicated for transportation purpose. And the distribution warehouse comes for completely dispatching and storage, as well as dispatching of all the goods and materials. Then moving forward, we have for the flex space. So flex spaces is nothing but flexible space. So flexible properties where it is actually designed to give all of these tenants a flexible usage of the particular space for their production as well as for the developmental activities. Out of which, on the first ways, we have a bifurcation of R&D. So R&D basically means as the research and development, like you as all know. So this particular process, it is for these companies that creates new products, and they mainly concentrate on improving the particular products that it has been manufactured for. So R&D properties, they actually vary a lot depending on all of these tenants, like what exactly they have been expecting for improvement of the existing property. Now, say for example, these Google is actually soon to open for these self-driving car projects. So this particular project, it facilitates about 53,000 square foot of land that is required for self-driving of these. The tests for all of these self-driving cars. So this should definitely be kept away from all of these common people. That's exactly where the project size is dependent on that particular product that has been getting manufactured there. So since it is, they will have so much of trial and error runs that will be happening there. So that is one of the examples where I can take it out for R&D, for the research and development part. Then moving forward, we have for the data centers. So in these data centers are where these companies put all of these equipments that hold their data, then keep their internet up, and it just keeps running and make a cloud storage possible. So this is how a whole data center, how you can actually picturize a data center. So this also definitely requires an average space of about maybe 1 lakh of square foot. So it can get as bigger as it is. So currently, the largest data center that has been there is put up at Langfang in China. So that is about 6.3 million square foot. So that huge spaces would be required for data centers. So the reason for this size variation so much is a lot. It is because these companies choose to lease these particular spaces in the third party data centers. So that is the reason why it will have for a larger space that is required for the data centers. And then we have for the showrooms. So definitely all of you would have like visited one or the other time for the showrooms. It might be when you're taking your two-wheelers, or when you're taking your when you're purchasing your four-wheelers. So these showrooms, they have this, typically they have a mixture of all of these spaces. So it will include office space, it will include a warehouse space, or it will, in most importantly, it will include all of these showroom spaces. So for example, now you would have gone to buy a car. So at the starting part, you have this whole fancy designing reception end, and then you will have all of the cars that has been displayed. So few high-end cars, they will even have these models of the small cars and all of those that will be displayed in the front. And then when you move a little behind, you will have that local office where the sales office or the marketing and the sales office, both of these also will be like put together there. So that is where another division of that particular unit will take place. And then at the last, there might be service centers also that will be put up. So in most of the two-wheeler showrooms, especially, so the service units will be there at the behind part of it. In this way, the whole showroom will be bifurcated into multiple other different uses. So this is where the different type of properties that will come under the industrial real estate, which is mainly bifurcated into three types. One is the manufacturing, storage and distribution, as well as the flex spaces. So by now, I'm guessing you will have a fair idea on various kinds of industrial property types. Now moving forward, we have it for what are the core goals of the industrial corridor. So firstly, coming to the manufacturing growth. So manufacturing is definitely having a increasing curve in the graph. So from centuries together, based on the automation of these factories, or based on the manpower that is required in the manufacturing units, definitely it has got a higher growth. Also, because of the mass production that it is to be made, irrespective of what is the product that has been manufacturing or produced there, it requires a very vast space of land and its own planning for automated computers as one unit, for the packing purpose as one unit, and for assembling part as a unit. So this is where manufacturing growth definitely has one of the core goals for industrial corridor. Then coming to the socio-economic development, the amount of industries that has been surrounded in one of the states or one of the cities that is there nearby, it will definitely be contributing for the social and economical development of that particular state or the city. And because of this, it in turn helps in the quality of the life, the standard of life that has been happening in that particular locality. And definitely when there is a factory or a warehouse or a manufacturing unit, or it may be a light assembly unit that is coming up, it will definitely require a lot of investment that is to be going there, because it is a mass production, because it is a mass amount of work that will be happening. So there's going to be a lot of job openings for all the localites there, and there will be a lot of investments that will be happening. So these are few of the core goals for any of the industrial corridor or for any of the industrial real estate sector. So manufacturing on one end, that in turn will be contributing for the social and economic and the quality of the life, and definitely providing all the local jobs and much more investments happening there. So this is where the core goals of the industrial corridor comes into the picture. So now coming to the life cycle of the whole warehouse. So this whole life cycle is bifurcated into 5 different parts. First, let's start with the strategic decision. So as it has been seen, a multiple amount of research is to be made, starting from thinking of where exactly this industry will be located. So what is the history of that particular land? All of these things slightly have given you an idea on the residential real estate as well as in commercial real estate as well. And then planning for its supply and demand for the distribution purpose. So the supply chain and the logistic purpose, all of these decisions will come under the strategic decision part. So once all of this particular planning has been done, irrespective of where the industry is to be located, how it can be transporting all of these goods and materials, then we will be having for the funding. So funding, it is where definitely if it is an equity or a debt financing. So it is like based on whether you will have to raise investors or whether you will have to give it on an equity shares. Based on what is the projections that you have for the production as well as for the construction part of this whole industrial unit, the funding has to be definitely be planned. And also what is the platform where it is there for the transaction units. All of these plannings comes under the funding unit, on which are the areas where you will have to be investing for the sales or the marketing purpose, where is the acquisition that is to be made. All of these things comes under the funding part. Then moving forward, we have for the actual transactions. So land is seen, you have some amount of funds, where exactly to make use of these funds has been planned. Now coming to the transaction part of it, who are the tenants who will be coming over here, whether they'll be coming on a rent, whether they'll be coming on a lease, even if they're coming on lease, for how many years that this particular industrial property will be there on lease, what is the landlord that has been representing, what exactly this tenant represents. So what exactly they want, they'll have to come under a mutual understanding, and there should be all of these contractual basis that should be happening. So this is where the whole transaction of an industrial property that will be coming into the picture. So once you have a tenant also that has been come across, then we would be moving on starting of all of this work, where the whole project management comes into the picture. So here we have about the programming and the design. So you will start calling off for tenders. You will see how many person are ready to take up this particular tender for the production units. And based on that, what are the programming or the designs that has been required, the series of activities, how you can plan based on the kind of product that has been manufacturing there. So all of these activities will be coming under the project management. So once the production of this particular product that you have actually planned for is all been made planned, and when this production actually even starts having your sufficient amount of employees, then comes these maintenance. So when this maintenance, definitely manpower is one of the major challenges, because manpower is becoming costly day by day. If you're not getting manpower, then how much are you going to be investing on all of these machineries and goods? The upgraded technologies where you will make it all automated kind of work. So complete budgeting that is required for all of the maintenance purposes. And then how this particular whole operation and the maintenance will be taking part will all come under the section of maintenance. This is how the whole life cycle of a warehousing or an industrial corridor, I would like to tell, will come into the picture, starting from the strategic decision, funding, transaction, project management, and the maintenance. So by now, we are at the end of the session. You will definitely be having an idea about what this industrial real estate is. So by end of this whole session, I'm sure you have a clear idea about what exactly is happened with respect to residential real estate, how personal that is when it comes to commercial real estate, how business related work it is, and when it comes to industrial real estate, how this manufacturing or this production or the warehouses unit itself is completely different. So by now, I am guessing that you will be having a quite clear image regarding all of these sub bifurcations. So in our next session, we will be talking in a similar fashion about what are the sequence of activities that will be happening with respect to the residential projects as well as infrastructure. So till then, definitely do take care, and I would like to end this particular session. Thank you so much.